Come along as we go back down to the White House to visit Warren G. Harding, the 29th U.S. President. Warren Harding, whose life spanned from 1865 to 1923, served in office from 1921 to 1923 before dying of an apparent heart attack. Harding's presidency was overshadowed by the criminal activities in some of his cabinet members and other government officials, although he himself was not involved in any wrongdoing. An Ohio native and Republican, Harding was a successful newspaper publisher who served the Ohio legislature and U.S. Senate in 1920, he won the general election in a landslide, promising a return to normalcy. After the hardship of World War I, as president, he favored pro-business policies and limited immigration. Harding died suddenly in San Francisco in 1923 and was succeeded by Vice President Calvin Coolidge, who we'll get to in the next president. After Harding's death, the Teapot Dome scandal and other instances of corruption came to light, damning his reputation. Warren Gamble Harding was born November 2nd, 1863, on a farm in the small Ohio community of Corsa, which is present-day Blooming Grove. He was the oldest of 8 children to George Harding, whose life spanned from 1843 to 1928, a farmer who later became a doctor and port owner of a local newspaper, and Phoebe Dickerson Harding, whose life spanned from 1843 to 1910, a midwife. Did you know, in 1923, as a part of a cross-country tour, Harding became the first American president to visit Alaska, which had been a territory since 1912, which achieved statehood in 1959. Harding graduated from Ohio Central College, now defunct, in 1882 and moved to Marion, Ohio, where he eventually would work as a newspaper reporter. In 1884, he and several partners purchased a small, struggling newspaper, the Morning Star. In 1891, Harding married Florence Klein D. Wolfe, whose life spanned from 1860 to 1924. A Marion native with one son from a previous relationship. The Hardings had no children together. and Florence Harding helped manage the business operations for her husband's newspaper, which became a financial success. She later encouraged Warren Harding's political career and once remarked, "I have only one real hobby, my husband." Warren Harding, a Republican, began his political career in 1898 by winning election to the Ohio Senate, where he served until 1903. He was Ohio's lieutenant governor from 1904 to 1906, but lost his bid for the governorship in 1910. 2 years later, he stepped into the national spotlight at the Republican National Convention when he gave a speech nominating President William Taft for a second term. In 1914, Harding was elected to U.S. Senate, where he remained until his 1921 presidential inauguration. The congenital Harding had undiagnosed cancer or undistinguished career in the Senate, while he supported high protective tariffs and opposed President Woodrow Wilson's plan for the League of Nations. Harding was generally a concealer and took very strong stands on any issues. And with that, I will see you all in the next one.